Hi, this is a review of The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. There's probably a lot of you who haven't read it yet, so here's the deal with spoilers. This review is free of any major spoilers. So if you kind of know what the basic storyline of the book is, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. But obviously, if you don't know anything about this book and you want to keep it that way, maybe you can save this video to your favorites and come back to it after you finished reading The Fault in Our Stars. I have so many things to say about this book, I honestly do not know where to start. The Fault in Our Stars is a story about a 16-year-old girl called Hazel who has cancer. When she was diagnosed with cancer when she was 14, people thought she was going to die, but through a kind of medical miracle, she survived and she's now in a cancer support group, and that is where she meets Augustus Waters. And Augustus is definitely interested in Hazel. I don't have a copy of the actual book, but I had the opportunity to read it early in December, and I reread it again this week. It's been a while since I've read a John Green book, and I guess I'd kind of forgotten how much I liked them. I think the characters in this book are definitely the best he has written so far. It's kind of a breath of fresh air compared to a lot of other books. They're very much teenagers, but at the same time there's a kind of maturity to them, a kind of fullness that I can't really explain, but that's so pleasant to have in a book. As in his other books, the dialogue is very natural, there's lots of likes and whatevers, but at the same time, because he mixes in all this literature and poetry, it becomes something more elevated than that. There's a very nice balance of, for example, some pranking and some poetry. When I read this for the first time, I actually read this in one go, so that's already saying a lot. The book has a female protagonist, which is kind of a new thing for John, and sometimes I couldn't help but hear his voice. Probably because I watched the video of John reading the first chapter of his book. I really like how the title of the book works in so many different ways, and you keep discovering new ways of interpreting it as you're reading the book. There's so many themes that keep coming back as you're reading it. There's the thing about how people treat cancer patients. Of course, this book shows that it's very tragic and it's a fight, but it also shows that they're just teenagers trying to live their lives. There's discussions on death and the way that you choose to make your life have meaning, and meeting your heroes and what happens to characters after a book ends. These are things that will all be very familiar to you if you've been watching John's videos. And then of course, there was the Dutch aspect. John spent about 3 months in Amsterdam last year, so he knows what it's like to be in Amsterdam, and that is what makes it so legit. For those of you who don't know, I am Dutch. I live in the Netherlands. I live about 30 minutes from Amsterdam by train, and I really like the picture that John paints of Amsterdam. You can tell from the book that he really likes it, but I think that most of the things that are in there are completely true. By the way, here's an interesting fact for you. The name of Peter van Houten's assistant, Lidewij Vliegendhart, was inspired by one of my friends who also makes videos, and she's called Lidewij, and my last name, which is Vliegendhart. So you can imagine that whenever I saw that name, I just squealed a little bit. I ordered the audiobook that's read by John, so I'm very curious to see how he pronounces the name. Okay, so here's the too long didn't watch version. The Fault in Our Stars is pretty much amazing. I can recommend this to anyone. It's kind of weird because it's not like a fun book you can recommend. There's lots of funny things in it, but it's not a fun book, but it is very good. Also, to all of you Dutch nerd fighters, there's going to be some very exciting things happening surrounding The Fault in Our Stars in March. So, get ready for that. So if you hadn't read it, enjoy reading The Fault in Our Stars. If you have read it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. I wanna talk to you about this book a lot. I will see you guys later. Don't forget to be awesome, and best wishes. Doei!